Our next guest wears a lot of hats. He's a stand-up comedian, a political columnist, a radio commentator, and author. His latest book chronicles the life of his father, Jack, and the conversations and arguments and philosophical musings that have happened over the years. Barry Friedman is a Tulsa local. A lot of people love him. A lot of people don't, but he is an author, and he has written this book.
Who doesn't?
I don't know.
And you've defaced my book.
I did. I didn't want to have... Okay, first of all, this is hilarious. I had a chance to read it this weekend.
I am flattered. You read it all the way to Kansas City, all the way back.
I did. Talk to me about how this book came to be, though.
My father moved out to Las Vegas after my mother died, his wife died. And I went out there because I have to plug in his computer, literally, or move a chest of drawers. And so I'd come out there and we'd spend weeks together. And I started writing things about him because we'd go to buffets and he'd figure out a way to scam the whole buffet system. Vegas was to its knees because he figured out a way, literally, to slide from breakfast to lunch. So he got 2 for 1 at breakfast, and then he slid with his friend to lunch, so they got 4 meals for the price of 1.
Then they got wise to him, though, and they changed everything up on him because of him.
But the weird thing is, to do that, you have to finish breakfast at 10:30, and then eat lunch at 11:15 for this to work.
Right.
And if you wonder about that, then you don't quite understand the brilliance of Jack Friedman.
Right, right. Now, your dad passed away
in November
last year.
96.
But you kept all of these musings, all of these, and they even put them on Facebook?
Well, I started on Facebook. Okay. And then I did it on Substack. And then, you know, enough people tell you, put it in a book, put it in a book. I thought maybe we have a book here. Yeah. So this is volume 1 of the Jack series. And then the next one will be when he moved to Tulsa. And then the 3rd volume will be when he moved into the Hebrew home, which is his name for the Jewish Community Center at Tulsa at 71st and Lewis.
I want to show some pictures because you have to get the full feel, the full effect of Jack Friedman. Was in the military. Next picture, he gets married. Beautiful. Your mom was gorgeous. And then over time, as time does to us, he began to lose his hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he loved to wear toupees.
Well, not just any toupees.
Okay.
Toupees that came in a box that he ordered online, women's hair pieces. And they used to be called, no, seriously, they were called Fiona or Cheryl.
They had names,
and then
right.
And then he put them on his head and literally cut them himself. Yeah. Because, you know, what could go wrong there? Well, one time, he's actually complaining about it. I go, you know, maybe you should stop buying hair that comes in a box. And he said, what do you want me to do? That's the way they come. Like there was no other option out there for toupees. But he wore toupees awful. They were the worst. Imagine the worst toupee.
Well, and I think if you'll keep going with the photos, I mean, I went ahead and I was like, okay, I mean, you go down this road in your book. It is hilarious. But you even have a photograph of the toupee, or one of them, and you reference it to be something from Star Trek.
Yeah, the Tribble episode.
Yes, yes.
There were boxes of, when he moved to Tulsa, my brother and I found boxes of hair. and we needed like surgical gloves to move them because they were hair. And
I want you to read this section of your book.
All right.
From right there. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dad, nobody has hair that thick, I told him once. I do. You do realize they look awful. Everyone knows you're wearing a toupee. You're the only one who can tell I'm wearing one. Dad, Stevie Wonder can tell you're wearing one. He never took it off, not at night to sleep, not when he was showering. He used to have hair bonding glue, which used years before the glue, was more than he was willing to spend. By then, the pieces, still thick, were more like elastic wigs that would cup around his head. They weren't like wigs, that's exactly what they were. He bought wigs, wiglets, hair pieces, whatever euphemism were being used, from a company called Paula Young. They'd come in boxes that he'd put on his head and style cut with dull scissors after he faced a mirror. When a mirror wasn't around, he did it freehand, meaning that the cut, as you would imagine, would often go awry.
I love it. Now, you did convince him, as we see in these future pictures, to just not wear it one again.
My wife actually did that. And hi, honey. We were at dinner, and she said, take it off. And he took it off, and he spoke to it like Hamlet.
I saw that video clip. I meant to play it today. It was fantastic.
You're done. You're out of here. You had a good life, but it's over. And then we went to Target. And I said, what are we doing here? I said, we're going to buy a hat.
And this was the hat?
Yes. No, that was a dollar hat he bought at the dollar store.
Okay.
Doesn't he look good there?
Yeah.
So, no, he bought a hat, and we go to Target. It's like 9:30. He says, do they have hats here? I said, if there's a God, they do. And then he started wearing hats. But that was the piece. That was a dollar hat he bought at the dollar store.
He looked great. Very dapper.
Very dapper,
For
yeah.
sure. Well, I can't wait to read volumes 2 and 3.
Which you also won't pronounce.
Well, and I'll just keep this, my very fancy covering up here. You can find Barry's book at Amazon or where most books are sold.
Actually, why don't we go to Magic City Books, give them some local.
That sounds great.
And I may be doing a signing there this weekend.
Okay.
They haven't confirmed it. It'll be Saturday or Sunday. I'll just show up, and you can be there, too. Now, was that true, though, about the cash in the truck that I get for being on the show?
No, that was not true.
I'm doing your mom. I'm just leaving.
No, that was right. No,
I'm just leaving. No.
Thank you. It's so good to see you.
Oh, good. It's been like 112 years.
It has. We were both babies back then. But I'm so happy to see you again, and I truly enjoyed reading this book. It was a great read. I recommend it for folks out there.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun.
Flattered.
All right, 9:49, got to wrap. You don't have to be small to let off a lot of energy. Still ahead, we're going to show you what happens when a bison gets the zoomies.